Now the next thing we'll look at is working with different kinds of worksheets. So I mean creating a new sheet or something like that. Now, yeah, here we'll not take here we'll not look at any errors in the data, right? So we will go ahead with a slightly clean data set. Now let's say these are the different guys who are there in the list. Now what I would like to do is the same thing, whatever we have done in terms of copying the data of these players, instead of copying them to probably sheet 3 or something, this time I may be more interested in creating 7 new sheets, one for each of these players, and copying their data into that sheet only. Right? So it's like once I just simply start off, I can simply create a sheet for them and copy the data into that sheet. Right? So instead of copying all their things to sheet 3, one below the other, whatever is the list that is there, for that entire guys, I want to create new sheets and simply copy their data into that new sheets. Right? All right. So what we'll do is we can make a copy of this itself, because half of the work is more or less the same until the identification of the player and all these things. It is more or less same. Instead of pasting it into the existing sheet 3, we are creating a new sheet. We are creating a new sheet and pasting it into that sheet. That's the only thing. So let me copy the code which we have already written, right? And probably write it into a new module, right? And I will call this sub as working with worksheets. This is the sub I am saying. So in this also we'll do the same thing. Okay, we'll select the player, we'll get the first occurrence of that player and all that stuff. Yeah, but before that, for 1 to the selected player count, I have to create a new sheet. Right? I have to create a new sheet. So I have to define some worksheet kind of stuff. So I'll say dim ws as worksheet. So just like integer and all, I can define something as a worksheet type also, as a type called worksheet also. So what I'll do here is, right, here I'll say worksheet dot add, right, and I will see if the worksheet name already exists. See, first of all, I'll say simply say worksheets dot add. Just I'll show you both the scenarios. I'll simply say worksheet dot add, right, or ws is equal to worksheets dot add, because we have defined ws as a worksheet. I am saying worksheets dot add, and I'll say ws dot name is equal to player name, but player name we are finding out here. So probably these two steps also I'll bring it once I know the player name. Correct? Here I'll simply say, right, here I'll simply say ws equal to worksheets dot add. I am adding a new worksheet, and ws dot name is equal to player name. So that particular worksheet, I am giving a name which is equal to the name of the player itself. Right? And now what I will do, instead of select, so I have copied, I have gone to sheet 1. In that sheet 1, I have copied the data of that player. But instead of pasting it in sheet 3, I will not paste it in sheet 3 now. I will paste in the sheet player name. So sheets player name dot select cells 1,1 dot select. In that sheet, select the A1 cell, then do the pasting. That's it. You have copied. You have already created the sheet with the player name. You have already created the sheet with the player name. So once because you don't need to have two pastes, only one. You have already copied the sheet called the player name. So because of that, you are directly opening that sheet called the player name, and you are pasting it there itself. Now let's try running it. Will it work or not? We'll see. Right? It will generally create some small problem. Here it will work, but after that it will create a problem. We'll look at that also and we'll address it. All we have done as a change is very simple, because the difference between, see, if you do it manually also, what is the difference? If I say copy this person's data one below the other in the same sheet versus a new sheet. If it is one below the other, you will not create a new sheet. You will go into the existing sheet itself, identify where is the blank row, there you do a control V manually. So this is just a manual process. But if it is a new sheet, what is that you are saying? For every player, you are creating one new sheet. Right? And after that, once a new sheet is created, you are going into sheet 1, copying the data, coming to that sheet, the player's sheet, in the first location.